Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Current Affair Analysis for 4th August 2020, and these are the articles we'll be dealing today. The first article for the day is taken from the Indian Express and it is titled Lip Service to Bhasha. So in the recently released new education policy, which was released after a gap of 34 years. So there are a lot of positives in this new policy. However, this article criticizes one particular point because apparently the author believes that the policy does not address the issue correctly. What is the point that she is talking about? Let us have a look into that issue now. So the topic of debate and discussion in this particular article is about the usage of language. So India is a country where we have a lot of languages, and respecting this diversity should reflect in our language policy. So with respect to language usage in education, we have had the three language policy. Now what is this three language policy? So the three language formula for language learning was formulated after 1968. Generally 1967 is considered to be a landmark year in Indian politics because this year witnessed the downfall of Congress hegemony. Especially in Tamil Nadu, the anti-Hindi agitation has taken a serious root and became a major policy matter or a matter for debate in elections as well. So ever since, in the new education policy of that time, that is in 1968, they came up with this policy. So as per this three language policy, the government adopted a middle path. So apart from Hindi and English, there was introduction of one modern language, preferably a South Indian language, as a part of the curriculum for various students. However, Tamil Nadu has ensured that it will not follow this three language formula, and recently the Minister of Tamil Nadu has laid down and clearly reiterated the stance that even after the adoption of new education policy, that they will not go with a three language formula. So what is the aspect of new education policy that deals with the issue of language? Is there any revamp? Let us have a look into this. So the policy says that till class 5 it is preferred to have education in the mother tongue. So the child starts learning that subject without discomfort because of lack of ability to adapt to English. So is this provision good enough? That is the point of debate in this article. Now if you take a historical analysis, the author uses the point that a lot of civil servants who are above the age of 60 who have retired, if you take a look at them, most of them studied in vernacular languages. So she compares this set of bureaucrats with the ones who were educated in the pre-independence era, because the author sees that there is a sort of a continuity from pre-independence era to a very late stage till English has actually taken over as the preferred medium of instruction across the country. English has offered job opportunities. Before that, vernacular medium has done very well in imparting English education skills as well. The language of English was also taught very well in these schools. Second aspect is that most of them came from dominant caste or upper caste, so they had a history of education in their family. But if we take the present times, who are going to these vernacular medium schools, which are majorly government schools? It is the socially backward classes as well as SCs and STs. So they don't have this quality aspect right now in their schools, and secondly, they don't have a history of education in their families. Most probably they are the first generation kids who are getting proper education. Now because of the lack of proper language and because of the social basis required for attaining better jobs, they are at a loss. So this author uses an example of 2014 anti-English agitation taken up at UPSC level. So a lot of Hindi medium aspirants felt that there should be a sort of parity with English medium students, and the CSAT exam, which was there in that particular point of time, which was not just a qualifying exam but also added to the final score, was disproportionately in advantage of the English medium students. So the point that we have to focus right now is improving the quality of schools where a language is taught very well. So if the previous generation who had access to quality education in the vernacular medium itself can attain such high jobs and high positions, you see a tradition where a lot of these people who were educated in vernacular medium in pre-independence era as well as the time after that were able to do well in their life. It is not like only the English medium schools are doing very well. So if we take a look at UNESCO's list of endangered languages, nearly 170 languages in our country are at a threat of extinction. If education itself is not encouraged, and if national education policy itself does not encourage our history, our language, there is a serious threat. So merely saying that this policy will encourage vernacular education till class 5 is not going to be enough. We have to focus our resources on improving the quality aspect of these schools. That is the gist of this article. The second article for the day is taken from the Live Mint and it is titled, "Can India Show the Path Ahead if US ends up losing its way?" This article is very important because it lays down a vision for India in a world where US is retreating from the traditional leadership position. So till now, US has been a sort of a global leader, but with the arrival of Trump into the scene, we are witnessing a retreat of multilateralism. So in this scenario, can India become that alternative leader? That is the question that is being posed by this article. At this moment, it looks very bleak that India can be an alternative for the unipolar rise of China. If we have a look at various trends that China still enjoys support despite all this anti-China sentiment, the author projects certain key points. Firstly, there is a EU-China partnership that is going to be a reality. Secondly, US is trying to decouple with China, especially in the field of technology. China has been exhibiting its enthusiasm with respect to 5G technology. It has invested nearly 600 billion US dollars in 5G technology, which is supposed to be the future's growth driver. The third fulcrum of this entire phenomenon is the fact that there is anti-China sentiment which is at an all-time high. This anti-China sentiment is not just an anecdotal evidence, but it is properly documented by certain research papers as well. At the same time, Germany, Russia and China axis is growing stronger. In this scenario, how can we contain China and how can we create an alternative political world order? Another important point that we have to note here is in USA, elections are bound to happen this year. There is a strong anti-China sentiment within the country, and the party which is opposite to Republican Party, which is in power right now, which is backing Trump, is exhibiting a ambivalent strategy. That is, it is not clear about how to deal with China. On one hand, it wants to advocate that it wants to engage with China, but on the other hand, there is a risk of losing this election because of this stance, given the fact that there is a strong anti-China sentiment in the country. We are also talking about a EU-China pact, and in such a scenario, the two most powerful currencies, that is renminbi and euro, will come together. So as a result, US dollar will be weakened. Again, in such a scenario, we can even see a new age Bretton Woods institution coming into the scene. Given China's emphasis on technology, there is also a plan for Chinese digital technology. and this digital technology backed digital currency, might gain prominence, and US dollars prominence will eventually come down. Given all these circumstances, and Quad being the only policy tool that we are adopting for containing China, a Quad without US intervention will be useless. So, in that scenario, we have to rely upon our internal strengths. That is where the Atmanirbhar component of foreign policy comes into the picture. So, when we're talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, we have to focus on our strengths. So, the strength of our country is huge market as well as its demography. Now, in order to contain China, we have to use these strengths in our favor. But in order for this to become our strengths, we have to carry out certain economic reforms and invest in our human capital. So, this should be our immediate priority, given the fact that we are looking at this as an opportunity. There is no reason why India can't be an alternative power for China's rise. That is the gist of this article.